Welcome back to Rand on Real Estate. My name is Greg Rand. I'm your host on 77 WABC and WABCRadio.com. My website is ownamerica.com. That's right, ownamerica.com. How awesome is that you can actually own a piece of the country that you love? No other country in the world has what we have, and no other country in the world makes it as easy as this country does for you to own a piece of it. And the time really has never been better. And you know what? I know that you probably hear that and you wonder, you hear it from people in the real estate business. You hear now's a great time to buy. That's what they always say. They said it in 2005 and 2007 and it wasn't true. Well, it's true now. And what I want to walk you through now is what I call the 5 principles of real estate wealth. My background is I've been in this business for over 20 years. I've done it all. I've run a mortgage company. I've run a real estate company. I've run a commercial real estate company. I run an investment practice. When I say I've run them, I've started them all up and created them to a level of success, and then exited them all so that I can get into what I'm doing now, which is trying to show you how this moment in history is so incredibly important for you to grab your guts and do something about it if you have the ability. And so the 5 principles of real estate wealth I've learned over a couple of decades of watching professional investors, mostly in commercial real estate, how they use their creativity, how they use their gut instinct, and then reverse engineered all those patterns and apply them to you. So I wrote a book. The book is called Crash Boom. It's all about after one comes the other, right? After the crash comes the boom. I know this. You know this. Why do we forget this all the time? You know, why does the world forget that after crash comes boom? And by the way, after boom is probably going to come crash. So how do you do this right so that you play the cycles right and don't wind up getting hurt by the downsides? The very first principle is timing is everything. Professional investors know there's a time to buy, there's a time to hold, there's a time to sell. And guess what they're doing right now? They are buying. 35 to 55% of all the home sales in Florida, Arizona, Nevada, and parts of California are cash investors right now. Professionals who are sitting it out during the boom. All right? The guys and gals that I know who are, they're ridiculously wealthy. You never heard of any of them, okay? They're just quietly sitting on 10, 20, 50, $100 million that they've built because in 02, 03, 04, they were buying. They stopped. 05, 06, they dumped everything. They've been waiting on the sidelines. There's enough blood in the water right now, and they're jumping back in again, and I mean in a big way. They're not even wasting time getting mortgages. They're plowing their cash into buying these things for cash because they know that the opportunity right now is incredible because of all the things we talk about here. This unreal foreclosure situation that is driving prices below the trend line. Real estate has a trend line, 3 to 4% a year appreciation nationally. Most markets are going below that right now. That's when you buy. So timing is everything. Principle number 2 is buy to hold. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say never flip, but people who buy to flip never ask themselves simple questions like, well, what could I rent this for if I can't flip it? And they find out too late that they can rent it for $2,000 a month, but their mortgage payment is $3,000 a month, and so they're screwed. You never buy to flip. You buy to hold, even if you're going to flip. You always want to buy a property that if you get stuck holding the, what's the analogy? If you get stuck, the music stops and you don't have a chair, right? If you get stuck holding the hot potato, you want to be able to get a tenant in there and then ride the cycle out. So timing is everything, and in order to make that timing work for you, you buy to hold. Principle number 3, cash flow equals staying power. This is important because a lot of people say cash flow is the only thing. Cash flow meaning my rental income covers my expenses. Obviously, that's a very important thing, a very good thing. But there are lots of properties that I've seen investors buy, and I've done it myself, that were actually money losers in the beginning. But because they saw something in that property that could be changed, could be improved. One of my favorite stories is I bought a house that was 3 bedrooms and a den. Well, guess what? I made it a 4-bedroom, increased the rent, positive cash flow. I bought it as negative cash flow, made it positive cash flow because I recognized the fact that 4-bedroom houses in that town rent for about 20 to 25% more. And by the way, they sell for 20 to 25% more also. And so I was able to realize equity in the property and make it positive cash flow because I was creative. So cash flow equals staying power. And you can see, Laura, how these things build on each other, right? Timing is everything. But in order to get the timing working for you, you have to buy to hold. And in order to be able to hold, you have to have cash flow. Mm-hmm. All right? The 4th one is the biggie, and that is appreciation equals wealth. There are some folks that will tell you that appreciation is a bonus. You can't count on it. Those people are idiots, okay? The people who build wealth in real estate time their purchases correctly and buy in the right places so they can they feel they can count on. There's never any guarantees in this world, but if you want to look at the historical record, housing in most major markets in this country, in all major markets with the exception of Detroit, have gone up in every 10-year period since they've been measuring it after the Great Depression. So you can count on appreciation if you're smart about what you buy and smart about when you buy. And that's why we focus so much on this show, like we have in the last few segments, on show me a place that's getting beat up but has good long-term population growth. This is not rocket science. People want to live under a roof. People want to live in America. If you own quality housing in America, you're going to be able to have demand to rent that place. Harvard has it's called the Harvard Center for Joint Housing Studies, and they come out with a survey every year. The director of that division has been on this show, probably will be on again this summer, to talk about his most recent survey. And the conclusion that his study came to was that rental rates are too high. Rental rates are too high. Now, the purpose of the survey was to talk about the nature of our housing problem in this country, that we have people that are losing homes, people that can't afford the homes they have, and people that are now going into the rental market and the rental rates are too high. That's good for investors, okay? When rental rates are considered to be too high, that means that they're trying to convince the federal government to make some programs for housing affordability. But at the end of the day, the demand for rentals is at an all-time high. The demand for rentals of houses is at an all-time high. That's one of the things the Harvard study found, is that vacancies in big buildings is actually up. So while a few million rental households have been created as homeownership has come down, at the same time, they're not moving into apartments. They want to rent houses. You should buy those houses. So appreciation equals wealth, and you can use your creativity to look around the country, look around your community, find reasons to have confidence in future upside. And then once you do that, you focus on finding an ugly duckling. We'll talk about that in the next show, how to find an ugly duckling that everybody else is walking right by, that you can buy, dress it up, clean it up, and realize more value there. The fifth principle is real estate is a business. Real estate investment is a business. It's an entrepreneurial pursuit. It's fun. It's creative. It is not passive. But if you're the kind of person who thinks you have the goods, you have a good brain, you have good intuition, you like to do research, you can make a mint doing this right now. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this show was useful to you. Come and see me at ownamerica.com. Email me at greg@ownamerica.com. And check us out on WABCradio.com. All of our shows are on the podcast section of that site. And we are very, very happy you were here listening to us. This is Greg Rand on Real Estate.
Yes, it is. And you still have a minute left.
I still have a minute left?
That's okay. Normally I have to pull you back because you just keep on going. But
yeah, Laura goes nuts in here. When I start actually getting close to the end of the show, Laura starts waving her hands around like crazy. I figured I'd save her from the trouble of throwing her shoulders out of joint. But I guess
And to make it worse, you videotape the whole thing, and people will get to see how crazy I look. But anyway, also brought to you today by Own America. Very grateful for that. Greg Rand, you're an absolute wealth of information. I feel like I need to go out like right now and scour this country and find something great. I feel like I can do it. Thank you so much. Anyway, this is also, we're coming up on Living Better with Laura Smith. I have Dr. Gluck in the house. He is your resident life coach, executive life coach, and hypnotherapist. We want to help you fix whatever is going on in your life. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Living Better with Laura Smith. Hope you're enjoying your day today. 77 WABC. Right back at you.